Welcome back to Coin Explorer. Today we are looking at a 1991 Roosevelt Dime, a coin that millions of Americans have seen, spent, and often ignored without a second thought. At first glance, it appears to be an ordinary 10-cent piece from everyday circulation. Yet experienced collectors know that even common-looking coins can become the center of attention when unusual characteristics are discovered. Before assuming this dime is worth only face value, stay with us until the end, because one small detail could completely change how collectors view a coin like this. The Roosevelt Dime has been part of American coinage for decades, and the 1991 issue remains a familiar sight among collectors and the general public alike. Produced for circulation, these coins were intended for everyday transactions across the country. However, the collecting world rarely judges a coin solely by its denomination. Factors such as condition, preservation, strike quality, mint origin, and unusual features often determine whether a coin attracts attention. That is why collectors continue examining older circulation coins with remarkable care and patience. One of the first things collectors notice on this coin is the small P mint mark beside the date. That mark indicates production at the Philadelphia Mint. While large numbers of 1991 P dimes were produced, collectors understand that population alone does not tell the entire story. Within massive mintages, there can occasionally be coins displaying characteristics that differ from standard examples. Because of this possibility, many hobbyists inspect every detail under magnification, searching for features that could make a particular specimen more desirable than ordinary examples. Condition plays an enormous role in determining collector interest. A coin that has spent decades moving through circulation will naturally show wear, contact marks, and fading details. On the other hand, a well-preserved example may retain sharp design elements and stronger visual appeal. Professional grading services evaluate these qualities carefully when assigning grades. Even among coins from the same year and mint, differences in preservation can create substantial differences in collector demand. That is why serious collectors always study condition before reaching conclusions. Another area collectors investigate is strike quality. During the minting process, coins are created when dies impress designs onto metal blanks under significant pressure. Sometimes the resulting strike is exceptionally strong, revealing crisp details throughout the design. Other times, certain features may appear weaker or less defined. These variations are not necessarily errors, but they can influence how collectors evaluate a coin. Careful examination of lettering, portraits, and reverse details often reveals subtle distinctions that are not immediately visible to the naked eye. Many viewers wonder whether a coin like this could ever be associated with extraordinary values mentioned in articles, videos, or collector discussions. Occasionally, reports circulate about rare coins linked to prices reaching millions of dollars. A figure such as $39 million is sometimes referenced in discussions involving exceptionally rare, unique, or historically significant coins. Such figures do not represent the normal value of a typical 1991 Roosevelt dime. Actual market value depends entirely on the specific coin, its characteristics, authenticity, and collector demand. This distinction is extremely important because the numismatic marketplace evaluates each coin individually. Two coins with the same date and mint mark may receive completely different levels of interest depending on their condition and features. Collectors often spend years studying subtle differences that separate ordinary examples from pieces considered special. The excitement of the hobby comes from this possibility of discovery. A coin found in a drawer, collection, or pocket change may deserve a closer look, even if it initially appears completely ordinary. When examining a 1991 P dime, collectors frequently inspect the lettering around the rim, the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, and the torch design on the reverse. They also study the branches and other design elements for unusual characteristics. Small variations can sometimes attract attention, especially when combined with exceptional preservation. Because these details are often tiny, magnification tools are commonly used. What appears insignificant at first glance may reveal interesting features when viewed more carefully under proper lighting and closer inspection. Authentication is another essential step in the collecting process. Whenever a coin appears unusual or potentially valuable, experienced collectors often seek professional opinions before making assumptions. Third-party grading organizations use established standards and specialized equipment to evaluate coins objectively. Their assessments help provide confidence regarding authenticity and condition. Without proper verification, it can be difficult to determine whether a feature is genuinely unusual or simply the result of wear, damage, lighting conditions, or normal manufacturing characteristics present on many examples. The popularity of coin collecting continues to grow because it combines history, research, and discovery into a single hobby. Every coin represents a small piece of American history that once traveled through countless hands and transactions. A 1991 P dime may have been carried in wallets, stored in jars, or exchanged during everyday purchases for years. That journey adds an element of fascination for collectors. Understanding where coins come from and how they were produced often makes the hobby more rewarding and engaging. Some collectors focus exclusively on high-grade examples, while others search for varieties, mint errors, or historically interesting pieces. Each approach offers unique challenges and rewards. The important thing is learning how to evaluate coins carefully and objectively. Rather than relying on headlines alone, knowledgeable collectors examine evidence, compare examples, and consult reliable references. This method helps separate speculation from verified information. In the long run, patience and research often prove more valuable than assumptions when building a collection or evaluating individual coins. If you happen to own a 1991 P Roosevelt Dime, taking a closer look can be an enjoyable experience. Examine the surfaces carefully, check for unusual details, and compare the coin with standard examples whenever possible. Even if the coin turns out to be a normal circulation piece, the process provides valuable knowledge about coin design and minting. Many experienced collectors develop their expertise through simple observations like these. Every examination becomes an opportunity to learn something new about numismatics and American coinage. Collectors also understand that rarity alone is not always enough to create demand. Market interest, historical significance, eye appeal, and certification can all influence how a coin is perceived. Some rare coins attract tremendous attention because they combine multiple desirable qualities at once. Others remain less sought after despite limited availability. This balance between rarity and demand is one reason coin values can vary significantly over time. Understanding these dynamics helps collectors make informed decisions and realistic evaluations of their holdings. As we approach the end of this examination, consider how many coins pass through daily life without receiving any attention. Most people focus on the purchasing power of a coin rather than its history or collectible potential. Yet collectors often see something different. They see craftsmanship, production methods, historical context, and the possibility of discovering something unusual. That perspective transforms ordinary pocket change into an area of ongoing exploration. Sometimes the most interesting stories begin with coins that seem completely ordinary. Thank you for joining us as we explored this 1991 P Roosevelt Dime. While most examples are worth their face value or modest collector premiums depending on condition, careful examination remains worthwhile. Stories about multi-million-dollar coins, including figures as high as $39 million, generally relate to extraordinary numismatic items rather than typical circulation pieces. The true lesson is to look closely before making assumptions. Every coin has a story, and occasionally a small detail can make a collector stop, investigate, and learn something remarkable.